What's good, everyone? We're back again with this Monster Energy DreamHack Studio broadcast of the 2019 Nordic Championship Summer, where we have just gone back from catching our breath after a crazy game one between Copenhagen Flames and Celestial Gaming. It had everything. It had a strange drafting phase that played out weirdly, and Celestial Gaming stepping up. Sang, how do you think Game 2 is going to compare to Game 1?
Well, here's the thing that I really believe in Celestial Gaming, but like traditionally, what I used to see from them is that the enemy team sort of adapt into their playstyle, and Celestial Gaming usually have practiced this very specific playstyle for this specific team beforehand. So if Copenhagen Flames are able to realize what's going on here and realize that, okay, we're just going to have to play our scaling team composition, going to just sit back and handle this kind of poking and catching team composition that Celestial Gaming want to go for, then I definitely still believe in Copenhagen Flames. So right now it's up to Copenhagen Flames to make sure they have a tactic that will work, and for Celestial Gaming to show that we're not just a one composition kind of pony, that we can go with different styles, we can play, we can adapt as well, and we can handle whatever Copenhagen Flames throw at us.
We talk about Celestial Gaming's composition as if it's super unconventional, but I mean, apart from the Renekton mid, it was fairly standard. So it's not as if they're deviating too much from what we're used to seeing. That was mostly Copenhagen Flames, but I mean, as we were watching the draft phase play out, there were some questionable moments, absolutely. But I don't know. I think Celestial Gaming have shown that they can play fairly standard. The question becomes, is Copenhagen Flames the better standard playing team? We are heading into Champ Select. 2 bans already on the way. JCUMI and Nico removed. Do you think, Sai, that Celestial Gaming will target any of the weird stuff that Copenhagen Flames forged in the first pick ban?
Honestly, no, I really don't think so. Maybe, just maybe, going with a ban versus Vladimir in the second tier, the second ban phase. Maybe, because Eden Fox, even though he got killed first, even though he was camped by his one of his junglers, pushed a tent next to him, he just helped him all the time. I mean, Eden Fox, he was able to handle things like quite well, although all of that focus on him by Zondia. But I don't know. I feel like it's up really now to Copenhagen Flames to adapt, and not for Celestial Gaming. They can go with a similar team composition, no problem, and they can just say, hey, Copenhagen Flames, if you want to win this, you are going to have to figure out a way to handle us.
Oh, absolutely. And early pick from Copenhagen Flames is that Lux, previously run by Eski. Eski, who had a lot of impact on the Lux bot lane support pick with some clutch shields. We'll see if Kalhira can perform the same way. That's responded, or that could also go mid lane, obviously, to Eden Fox. Coolberg locked in that Thresh for his support. So that's a Thresh Sivir locked in. Now the spell shield against the potential Lux bot lane is fantastic, and the Thresh to pick him off.
So no denying the Aatrox for Nihus, instead focusing on their own bot lane, getting the Thresh and Sivir right off the bat, showing how much focus and how much belief they have in their bot lane. Also really going to have it give it to Eski for, remember the clutch play in the mid lane where Zondia almost got caught under his turret, and then Eski just barely flash shielded him. On a Thresh, similar things will happen, but with even more of a priority since Thresh has his lantern. So this is something that I expect from Eski to be all over the map, saving his teammates. And now finally the Jarvan pick as they left the Aatrox open for Nihus.
Yes, that Jarvan pick secured by Dakrak. I feel like Jarvan fits into many of these compositions. He's versatile in how you can build him. You can build him more of a bruiser kind of style. You can go for the one shot. You can go for the Cinder Hulk tankiness. And I'm really looking at this Aatrox takeaway here. That is obviously a Coolberg takeaway, and it's also an extremely potent pick in the top side. Now, I adore watching Aatrox personally because you never stop getting amazed at the amount of sustain that's packed into this champion. So repeat pick there, or repeat target, I should say. Oh, we did play it last game. That's right. My bad. So yes, the second ban phase also comes in. Kindred Karth is taken away. LeBlanc Renekton. So they did target the Renekton, but it's Celestial Gaming that target their own pick, I suppose. Now, what do they run here?
So Copenhagen and Flames were banning the Renekton, do not want it in the hands of Zondia this time. And the response to this could be Zondia saying, hey, I'm going to show you guys how my Vladimir works in the mid lane, which would be something that very interesting. Also, Irelia up for grabs, something they might prioritize. They're prioritizing over the Vladimir, and Irelia still can go mid lane, could potentially go top lane, although I don't think Irelia does very well into Aatrox, if I am not mistaken. So this should be an Irelia mid lane.
Absolutely. I think Aatrox does dominate the matchup quite hard, for sure. I think you're right in that. So this is a bot lane Irelia takeaway. I mean, if you wanna really go out of your way to try to predict a second weird Copenhagen Flames composition, but most likely not. So they're really going top as a Poppy lock in. Okay, interesting. Poppy could go. Wait, Sang, what's happening?
All right, so we're going to see an Aatrox mid lane, or rather, we're going to see Poppy go whichever lane Irelia goes into. I am quite sure. So either, so probably mid or top lane, as Poppy is really strong versus the Irelia. You have the Gragas jungle and Aatrox flexing mid or top lane, whichever way the Poppy does not want to go. And finally, the Kennen pick. Okay, so we have a little bit of, well, it's not madness, definitely not, but it's not extremely conventional either, I would say, with the Poppy pick here. And, well, still, I do like this much more than I did the Copenhagen Flames first game.
Oh yeah, for sure. With the Poppy and the Aatrox, you also sort of allow Zandia and Kulberg to pick their poison. Where do they want to send the Irelia? Because it's not. Irelia doesn't have a great matchup into Aatrox, and against Poppy with the interruption of from Poppy's W, the stun that lands when someone dashes onto you makes Poppy dominate the matchup quite easily. Also, there are in extended trades you can argue that the Irelia does quite well. But in general, you're putting the Irelia in a rough spot no matter what. And apart from that, I also do enjoy the Gragas locking in the jungle. And honestly, the Gragas can accomplish a lot, especially against stuff like a Kennen, right? A Kennen that wants to come in from a flank and get a multi-man stun with that thunderstorm, and Gragas just bolts him away.
Yeah, absolutely. This is something very strong versus the Kennen, just to keep him away, although the Jarvan will keep the enemy team locked down as well, apart from Gragas and Aatrox that can get out of the Cataclysm. But I'm not sure if I'm just gonna have to eat up my words. I was expecting to see the Poppy versus the Irelia. It could still be the case. The Sneakers and Eden Fox could swap it up and just wait and see whichever way Sandia goes. But as we talked about earlier, I think Aatrox just simply from auto attack power, although Irelia can dash around him, I think Aatrox definitely is strong enough to 1 versus 1 on Irelia as well, if that is the way they want to go. So this could go in many different ways. Not going to see any invades this time from either side, and Kulberg is scouting Nihis up here.
For sure. There's some strength into Aatrox's auto attacks also, but I think most of the brawling power comes from utilizing your micro dash to get those triple knockups running. Because honestly, in an extended trade, I would probably give it to the Irelia, racking up that attack speed and eventually hitting that on hit. It's a lot of damage over time if you can get an extended auto attack trade. So the more time spent fighting, the less happy the Aatrox will be.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I'm kind of thinking about the Aatrox into Irelia. Having to look into the Twitch chat a little bit as well to see if anyone else thinks about A lot of people saying, like, some people saying it's a skill matchup. I do believe that should be true, as Aatrox, of course, as you say, with his all knock-up abilities, can definitely, if he's able to land those, deal a lot of just harass damage onto Irelia. But you say Irelia, with the extended damage, so much stronger. A good trade there on Kalhira as well down bot lane. A good start for Eski and Ambivert.
Oh, absolutely. Celestial Gaming coming in with the early pick onto Kalhira, forcing a potion there, which is a big win, right? Your sustain is a resource, especially with these consumables. So the fact that they get that early hook sets the tone for the bot lane a little bit, right? Sure, Zaya can escape with the Featherstorm, but Lux is a much more volatile target with no mobility, or I mean, she has her self peel with the light bindings and obviously the Lux E, also the slow. But I mean, once she gets hooked, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So if they can land the hook, it's going to be a skill matchup down the bot lane. In mid lane, there is Sandia and Dakric arriving. Eden Fox, though, not scared to trade. And here comes Young as well. Might be looking for the body slam flash, not finding any good position for it as there are minions in the way.
Eden Fox is straight up not scared at all, is he? Perfectly comfortable. 1v2ing for a while, just, saying, hey, this is me. Come grab a piece if you really want to, but you're responsible for what happens next.
Exactly, Eden Fox does not care at all about that gank as long as Dakric doesn't land his flag and drag combination. Down in the bot lane, there's a lot of poke coming out from Kalhira and Gooby, and as Kalhira also has the shield, can go for a little bit of a better trading situation, but that early hook allowed Eski and Ambivert to get a good pushing going, so they keep holding on to the level advantage, which is quite scary versus such an aggressive bot lane.
Meanwhile, in the topside jungle, Dakric and Young find a fight. Here's Zandia, though, which is going to force Young away back into the own turret, but flash forward by Eden Fox and the auto-attack Bop secures first blood for Copenhagen.
Yeah, it was really no way Sandia could have survived that unless he pre-flashed it. Eden Fox knowing exactly how much damage he had, and really good flash play from him. So showing that his Aatrox is something that we need to worry about, or the enemy team needs to worry about. Last game it was Nee who's playing the Aatrox, making it work even though they were behind, and now it's up to Eden Fox to snowball this big demon instead.
For sure. On the top side, meanwhile, Coolberg seems to have complete control of this matchup. Actually, when I say this, Nature's goes for a cheeky little trade here, but stun comes in. Coolberg is looking for a potential solo kill here. He's going to flash forward. Nah, the Poppy Q just smashes the ground and makes it an area that Coolberg does not want to tread through at all. Meanwhile, Dakric secures a bot side scuttle.
Oh, Dakric, even though he got killed, still in a good position on his Jarvan, expecting him to be very aggressive on this champion. But the Gragas for Jung as well has gotten his Predator boots, so we could potentially see a big dive coming up bot lane, a big fight coming up bot lane. Yeah, I think that was a little bit of a bait coming out from Gooby there. Is just waiting for Jung to come in with the Predator.
I mean, yes, but again, health is a resource, right? And we've already seen
absolutely.
how much Ambivert can apply. And if Celestial Gaming don't go for the all-in, then they just straight up lose health. So it's volatile and difficult to play around with baits like this. Meanwhile, a couple more left, no kills.
Really well played by Kalhira there. Just using the timing window on the shield for a little Ambivert, managing to land that little stun. Zandia 1 versus 1 with Eden Fox. Eden Fox level 6, Zandia only level 5. Zandia losing a lot of HP there.
Don't think he can finish this one off though. Yes, you get movement speed from ulting, but I mean, don't think he can pull it off alone.
Look at Eden Fox right now around these minions. He's waiting for Zandia to try to Blade Surge onto a minion and just holding on to his abilities, waiting for that to happen.
Oh, here comes the mid side. Power dive in mid lane. Young goes for the knockup, but beautifully dodged away by Zandia. Eden Fox's ult is used to, dodge away from the turret after a failed turret attempt. Nothing comes off it. Zandia plays.
Still no problem just getting that one flash off Zandia, not having to use too much yourself, just using the Predator ability. Gonna have that up fairly soon, and then we'll be able to get back mid lane with Eden Fox. Eden Fox might be waiting for his ultimate to come off cooldown first before they go for another dive. Not quite sure.
Yeah, I think that's most likely the case, right? With the healing that you get, allowing yourself to, I mean, take a little bit of extra damage from the Aurelia, take a little bit of extra damage from the turrets, I think it's all about that life. But it's, at the same time, very difficult to tower dive in Aurelia.
Yeah, absolutely. Zandia still now being a little bit more cocky here, having Eski around. Is going to have to run away though, as those were a little bit more than she wanted. Little rotation from top lane.
Yeah, Zandia was looking in the rearview mirror, but looked straight. I couldn't see what was going on in the blind spot, and I mean she still successfully called retreating in well and good time before you get capitalized by 2 more members. So some sense coming in there. And Copenhagen Flames show that they're willing to show use the resources in trying to force things just to tilt this match early on.
Strong push top line, turning around to an ult.
Oh, the big assassination there! What? That was such an extended trade. That looked so anticlimactic. They should just take this extended trade versus Kuhlberg, and then just Dakar comes in and, well, that's the Cataclysm.
Yeah, big clutch play there by Kuhlberg. He just knew exactly how much damage he was able to sustain before the Cataclysm came in to finish the job. So really good synergy between Dakar and Kuhlberg. Dakar being the new player on the team, showing that he definitely has the synergy needed with his teammates.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's coming in as the newest member, as you said. And you even mentioned earlier, hang on, meanwhile, Ambivert? Hang on, light blinding doesn't connect. Wait, what? Okay, the wards come in. Alrighty, the wards. He couldn't click the lantern because, well, too much vision.
Yeah, it's a classical situation that you can use versus Thresh. Put down wards around the lantern.
Oh, meanwhile,
hook landing here.
Not enough. It's a 3 versus 2 here. Flash forward by Eden Fox, stands on top of the lantern, so another denied one of these. Now, Eski's Thresh pick is not working out because Copenhagen Flames know how to play around it.
Exactly, Eski's just spamming the chat like, take lantern, grab lantern, but you can't really do that when the enemies are standing on top of it. So, well played little micro game coming out from Copenhagen Flames.
For sure. Watch these who's perhaps setting up a mid lane play. There's the Aurelia ultimate. Goes in onto Eden Fox. Will be able to get the big shot down. I feel like that's worth it. Zandia with a triumph also. Here's the Lux ultimate. Dodges out, and that's the Poppy securing that kill. Nishu is going to be very happy with that one. But Eden Fox going down, giving up 450 gold to Zandia is not what you want.
Absolutely, but double rotation also towards the mid lane allows Kuhlberg to move in even further on the top lane turret. So he's still fairly happy with this. He's up 23 CS, and the mid lane is still even. So, I mean, Zandia does not care too much about this at all. Right, yes, Kalhiro as well, also rotating early, giving Ambivert and Eski the time to just take down this turret as low as possible.
Securing as many plates as possible, and at the same time, Copenhagen Flames are looking at Rift Herald. Will be able to pick that one up, surely. So as Celestial are forcing plates down bot lane, Copenhagen Flames have the awareness to instantly go for that Rift Herald to perhaps secure some plates up top.
These rotations are on point, I gotta say, from both of these teams, not really allowing either side to get a big advantage on the map. Instead, just taking whatever they can, and whatever leaves open, that's up for grabs for the enemy team without taking any big fights for it. There's only 400 gold difference between these two teams now at 11 minutes. A completely different game from the first one.
I like how Kuhlberg just slapped a fat cutlass on top of Gooby to slow him and deny him maybe a minion or so. Just
Every little thing
as,
counts.
yeah.
Everything counts. Yeah, I don't know. That was a little bit weird. Maybe he wanted to try to like bait an ability or something from Gooby, like pretending that yeah we're gonna go for an attack now or something. I don't know. Speaking of Gooby and Kalhira, they're hiding inside of this bush, waiting to get an attack off on little ambivert.
Yes, a little bit impatient perhaps also, or they were sensing that the more time they spend here, the likely the likelier it is for a counter gang to be responded. They did have that extra member in Young sitting there in that river bush, trying to set something up. Instead, he'd be going to assist his mid laner Ian Fox to secure that mid lane plate. Another 2 versus 1. Zandia, a repeat situation here, is going to be able to clear out the Rift Herald and no more than, I think, 2 plates. Oh, that's almost 3 extra plates coming in from the Rift Herald. So that's high value on that one.
Yeah, huge value on the Rift Herald for Eden Foxes. Gotten quite a bit of gold at this point, sitting on the highest gold on his team. Down bot lane, Kuhlberg goes for another ultimate. This time though, Nihus.
Nihus is in that 1v2. Poppy ult comes in, but whoa, Dakri perfectly times the Cataclysm to not get knocked away. Interesting interaction there, and Nihus goes down to Kuhlberg in a 1v2 situation. Meanwhile, Gooby up top forces to ult, and whoa, the damage, the energy. Gragas ult forces stopwatch, and the timing is perfect. 2 more kills to Coupling in Flames. And I'm telling you, man, as something's going on in the bot side for Celestial Gaming, Coupling in Flames capitalize elsewhere, and vice versa. The rotations, as you said, they're on point.
Yeah, this is the exact kind of League of Legends that I enjoy seeing. Instead of trying to just play catch with your opponents and trying to like react to whatever they're doing, instead you're being proactive. Okay, they're going down bot lane, gonna get a play down bot lane. You know what? We're gonna get top lane instead. So it's not a problem for us. He's just using the map to its fullest potential. Also, a big play up top lane by Gooby to just barely survive and getting all of his damage off before his team arrived, so that he survived and that they could secure that fight under the turret.
Celestial now regrouping around the Mountain Dragon. Mountain Dragon quite important here with as Eden Fox later on transitions into more of a split push here, and Gooby, if you wait, hang on just a second. If you deny it away from Copenhagen Flames, then that would be swell. But Clutch Gaming, or sorry, Celestial Clutch Gaming. I've been watching too much LTS. Celestial Gaming do secure that dragon for themselves instead. So they do not deny it. Instead, they amplify the push of the Sivir, they amplify the push of the cannon, and times are swell.
Yeah, although the Lantern use there forced the little ambivert to use his flash to get out, and the mid lane turret went down, but the Mountain Dragon is going to be very important for Celestial Gaming as the game progresses. Having the opportunity to just burst down Baron ever so slightly faster than you usually would, or rather like 10% faster than you usually would have been able to, can really be the big difference between getting it and getting caught out. Especially yet again versus a lot of AoE and a lot of potential for Copenhagen Flames to fight inside the Baron pit.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The AoE of this team is crazy. The Cataclysm, the Thunderstorm, there's the Sivir AoE.
Exactly, I meant Celestial Gaming.
Oh,
Celestial to fight inside.
Yeah, for sure. There's so many tools to be used. Actually from both teams, right? Because I mean, there's some threat of Xayah Feathers just flying all over the place. Eden Fox with a bunch of AoE for that Aatrox also. Like, you're straight up on point with that one. I mean, both teams have so many tools that can just negate an interplay that we're gonna have to see it before we know how it plays out.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a lot focused on the Gragas cask, the explosive cask, for him to be able to deny Kennen a good ultimate. Same, of course, goes for Poppy, being able to use the judgment call, whatever it's called.
Meanwhile, topside, Eden Fox's ultimate is forced. He's 1v2ing. There's a slicing maelstrom, but Kalhira goes for that flash shield, and that's buying enough time for the Copenhagen Flames team members to come in. Young and Gooby come in across the wall and secure a 2-0. Now, Copenhagen Flames are looking fantastic in the second game.
Celestial Gaming, with a few misplays, are caught out of position over and over again, especially with Dagfrick now on his Jarvan. Going with the Cinder Hulk, it definitely means that you become more tanky, but you have a lot, definitely less damage, like substantially less damage. So you really can't go with this Jarvan thinking that you can 2 versus 2 as easily as you would have if you had gone with an 80 Jarvan, which means that I feel like Dagfrick sort of is playing this Jarvan like he will be able to burst people down, and then keeps getting caught out of position, not realizing that he needs to play around his team now. He can't solo play this Jarvan or go for skirmishes anymore.
For sure. And now that all of the outer turrets are gone for Celestial Gaming, it becomes even more volatile. Absolutely. Okay, a little bit of a reset in pressure here. No real objectives to take at the moment. Both neutral objectives are down, no real towers to take, and here's sort of where teams are tested on the offensive. When all of the outer turrets are down for the opposing team, and you've sabotaged and demolished all of them, pushing into the next tier of turrets becomes a little bit of a challenge, and not every team can accomplish that in a clean fashion, especially not when they're up against something like a Sivir, who can wave clear for days. So it's a challenge to break into the next tier.
Absolutely, it's going to be a bit difficult also to catch this Sivir, as you have the Gragas, you have potentially maybe a Poppy that can come and flank, but Ambivert's simply just going to spell shield most of that, or going to have flash up very soon as well to get away from that kind of aggressive play style. So going to have a wave clear for days.
Irelia ultimate comes in topside, Zandia. I mean, I feel like none of these players have enough patience or enough raw power, either of those things, to battle it out until the very end. They're just pushing in and trying to establish as much temporary pressure as possible. Nishi's teleport is almost up also, and that's crucial for the upcoming dragon, which is an air dragon, so perhaps not as high priority. The Baron is also spawning, so we're looking to
potential pick coming up here, going golden.
Yeah, young stopwatch force.
I am experiencing some lags here in my League of Legends client, so I'm not watching. Are you experiencing these as well?
No, man, I'm fine.
Alright, that's good.
Smites away a Dakrek, just treating him as a jungle camp, and takes down the first kill of this extended fight here, and that should mean the Air Dragon cleanly going over for Copenhagen Flames. Sang, how are you feeling?
I am feeling the way that I kind of described this Celestial Gaming before game 1, didn't I? Like, they are really strong in game 1, they're making their team composition work. Then in game 2, it's sort of like the opponents are adapting to it. They counterpicked them really well in the draft stage, and now they're sort of just playing around this. Like, Zandia is up here, Zandia is on paper stronger than the Poppy, just looking at gold, but about 1k gold ahead. But it doesn't matter, because Poppy is really strong into Irelia, so it's not a problem for Nihus to just play around it, and that means Zandia now is stuck in a situation where he doesn't want to be, where he can't do that much. And Copenhagen Flames is waiting for Celestial Gaming to get impatient, to overextend their welcome and go for a too aggressive play. And then that's when the Copenhagen Flames just turn it around. So Copenhagen Flames are playing this game the exact way that you want to play versus Celestial Gaming.
Yes, it's rough to be Zandia now. Either you're up against the Aatrox or you're up against that Poppy. You can't kill off the Poppy. You can't outduel the Aatrox. And if you're stuck in a side lane far away from the main objective, also, neither can you reach your team in time to really do something. Perhaps, I mean, Zandia has shown that at least he can push in Nishi's Poppy. So perhaps sending Zandia down on the bot side, not caring about... I mean, not caring is a little bit rough of a strategy, perhaps, but perhaps sending Zandia into the Poppy and trying to get that bot lane inner turret and play around with the AoE tools. Hang on just a second. As I say this, Zen has been topside all this time and gets killed off. Well done.
Yes, then yeah, showing off some crazy mechanics there, almost going 1-for-1 versus Jung, but Jung going golden in the nick of time. I think he would have survived even if he hadn't, as the damage from him and Eden Fox was just too much for Zandia to handle. Young has gone with the AP Gragas, so his burst is quite on point. But yeah, like you said, this is a rough game for Zandia right now. There's a lot of focus on him for both teams, really, both for Zandia to carry and also on the other side to just shut him down.
Now, Eden Fox finds himself in between a rock and a hard place. 3 members here, but there are even more Copenhagen Flames members. And who's trapped in here with who, really? Kohlberg does go down. Also, that should be 3 kills. No, actually, this Eden Fox Aatrox does not have enough damage to kill off Dakrek, who is running Cinderhook Jarvan. So does have slightly more HP to play around with rather than a bruiserish AD kind of style. But 2 kills going over for going over to Copenhagen Flames.
Celestial Gaming yet again getting a bit impatient, going a bit too far, trying just too much. Even under their own turret, they're just facing off versus a very tanky team that have a bit of a gold lead. They have really strong players, and Celestial Gaming are falling behind now and trying to go for these. I would just like to see them to try to group as 4, sending Zandia away and trying to force Nihus or Eden Fox to face Zandia and then go for a 4 versus 4. I believe they could make it happen with Little Ambivert, even though behind a bit, being very strong on the Sivir, having the AoE damage. Maybe on 2 items could make that happen, although Gooby is almost on 3.
And especially so with Nishiri's teleport now being down. So if we have a prolonged Irelia versus Poppy brawl, then I think Celestial Gaming can play around that with that 0-4-1 split that you mentioned. Absolutely. And look at the ward coverage now coming in from Copenhagen Flames around that Baron area. Oh, it is so telegraphed where they are looking, where their eyes are set. It is on that Baron. Just past 24 minutes now. I mean, they have a fair amount of damage here. As you said, they're fairly tanky, so the DPS isn't the highest, but the Xayah alone, Gooby will be able to output a large amount of DPS that could just secure them the Baron, if they find the window to do so.
Yeah, that's the big if for them right now, but absolutely Gooby has so much damage, and here they come with a big fight yet again. Kohlberg being the very engaging.
The Thunderstorm comes in, slicing Mills. It's pretty much no one though, and it's a fight in favor of Copenhagen Flames. They find the 3-for-1 with some seriously deep fighting there from Eden Fox's Aatrox in the middle of so many members, and he just closed in and pincered them into the rest of his team. And now that will be the Baron focus. Do they have enough damage to secure this before their health bars become low enough for Zandia to try to
yeah, absolutely. This is a free Baron for them, no problem at all. Zandia can do anything about this.
There it is.
So that's the Baron play, on top of yet another overextension from Celestial Gaming. They're getting so eager, they want to telegraph these big fights. You saw Little Ambivert just run straight into Kalahira's final spark. You see Gooby just going to town on anything that's getting close enough. And all of that focus on Kalahira, not having the burst to take him down, means that you burn everything to barely kill the support. And the enemy team is just happy. They're like, okay, you can get our support. We're going to get 3 of you, and we're going to get the Baron. Oh, and the Dragon as well. Because why not?
Dragon, yeah, the Baron plus Mountain Dragon combination now in full effect. They are, however, up against Sivir. Yes, Baron minions are way more difficult to wave clear, but it's still a Sivir. It could be worse for Celestial Gaming. There's hope for them to delay, and if they can play around waves, or removing the waves from the map, when there are no Copenhagen Flames members around. So, like, playing around them not applying the Baron buff is just a short moment. they could find the window to stave these mini waves away from their turrets for a longer time, because this puts the pressure onto Copenhagen Flames to constantly apply the Baron buff.
Yeah, I mean, Copenhagen Flames right now. Oh, big play
Ooh,
down bot lane.
beautiful CC chain. That should be Zandy going down once again. There it is. Gooby killing. And extended fight topside also. Knockup lands onto Golden Fox, the flag and drag. Celestial Gaming, the cross map play once again. The revive comes in, but that's an Aatrox who also has Guardian Angel. But look bot side.
Yeah, it's a big disrespect.
Wow.
Fox right now just disrespecting, going into his Guardian Angel and just laughing because he knows that while they're chasing him to get that one kill, the rest of his team is decimating the bot lane.
Yeah, bot lane inhibitor turret, bot lane inhib going down, and the Nexus also, or the Nexus turret also secured. Only one Nexus turret standing now. Super minions will be plowing down in the bot side. Beautiful use of the Aatrox distraction there. Play that so well. The disrespect even just finds time to laugh in their.
Yeah, that's he knew exactly what he was doing there. So he's like, yeah, I am caught. They're gonna catch me, no problem. You use 4 people to be able to chase me down and kill me, and leaving your base completely unguarded. That is a thank you move. So really difficult situation for Celestial Gaming. They want to get the kills, they want to get something done, but now they lost the inhibitor versus the Baron empowered enemy team. Baron buff is going to time out very soon though, but still, that's a huge power play on top of that Baron. A lot of gold gain and a lot of map control.
All right. Yeah, you said it, man. A lot of map control is the name of the game, and all Eden Fox has to do now is go top again, continue on with the push, have bot lane push for itself, and there you have it. I don't think we've seen a straight up 5 versus 5 though. Like actual 5 versus 5 without anyone be on the other side of the map. In a straight up 5v5, which team do you think has the advantage right now?
Yeah, I believe in Copenhagen Flames definitely having the upper hand in a 5 versus 5. Just looking at the amount of gold that they have been able to stack up with the items they have, with the amount of damage Gooby has been able to deal, yeah, no problem at all for them in a 5 versus 5. Little Ambivert's not been able to show up this game. But, I mean, I think the big problem right now for Celestial Gaming is that... they get caught out
forward.
again.
So many flashes forward. Yeah, both of these flashes used to secure that kill, making it into a 5 versus 4. Eden Fox hooked under turret. Zandia somehow finds himself in the middle of 3. Spell shields coming in to deny the cask from Gragas, but it's not enough to dissuade the mid lane push. Zandia goes down, Kuberg's dead, and it's a 5 versus 3 with 2 waves crashing into the Nexus turret. Surely this should be the game. First Nexus turret is already dead. Second Nexus turret goes down. They're looking for a Hail Mary play to come out of Celestial Gaming here, and they're going for it. However,
Little Ambivert died up on the platform.
Oh man, the platform death says it all as Copenhagen Flames equalize the match to 1-1. Celestial Gaming go down.
Yeah, Celestial Gaming not being able to win Game 2 means we're going into the final game in the best of 3. And Celestial Gaming, again, showing in Game 1 what makes them so strong, and in Game 2 showing that they are not unstoppable.
Not unstoppable, to say the least. Copenhagen Flames ran away with this game. There were just so many tools, and they were constantly answering the proactiveness of Celestial Gaming with things on the other side of the map, right? The Aatrox getting caught says it all, right? Eden Fox laughing in the faces of their opponents, and even earlier on, securing Rift Herald when turret plates were falling down bot side and kills cross map. It's just the macro play in the second game has been on point, absolutely, and hopefully both of the teams can keep it up as we head into Game 3. Who do you think takes it?
I gotta say, even though I am a huge Celestial Game fan, I still gotta say, like, this big issue with them is that they win game one, they sort of lose out in game two. Like, this is something we've seen over and over again. And in game three,
Yes.
they sort of, I feel like they kind of lose faith in their own playstyle, and they start trying to counteract the enemy's playstyle instead, and that's when they falter. The Celestial Gaming I want to see is the Celestial Gaming that wins games, is the one that are proactive, that take control of the game, that just don't really care and just go for their own play style. And this game, they weren't allowed to. Copenhagen Flames simply took whatever they wanted. They went for any trade and were like, yeah, we're going to just get a little bit ahead on this trade. You take one turret plating down here, we're going to take two. You get one kill, we're going to get a turret. Always getting that a good trade-off on the map. And Celestial Gaming, once they start to try to play catch-up, instead of trying to play their own style, that's when they're losing. So they really need to get back into the focus, get back in onto those steering wheels, and then they can get this final game. Otherwise, I really feel this is Copenhagen Flames showing up and showing what they can do.
We're gonna have to see just which side of the coin the Celestial Gaming flip lands on as we head into game number 3 after a short commercial break. You guys don't want to miss the final broadcasted game of the day. Stay tuned, stay right there, grab a drink. We'll be back in a bit.